there must be an instant rebuttal, and the pressure gets really put on top of General to get the bigger kill controller. Like the ability to get that lasso and then just set up so Dendi as well as like a God Strength Sven don't have to chase down their targets.
I mean, it's great if EG clumps up, then the Winter Wyvern is by all means super nice, but
It's just
Soneko made a name of himself on this particular hero, but it has been nerfed into the ground since then.
Oh, hello. PPD's going to find Soneko. He was trying to go for the courier snipe, and PPD just read this too well. He'll go down to half-life PPD for it, but more importantly, they protect that. Well, it's actually only Tangos coming out to Samel instead of the south.
So the mid matchup is really, really interesting. I think Dendi played a phenomenal TA yesterday up against an OD. So how he can fare against Sumail, who also had two very good games on the Invoker yesterday, even in the one they lost.
And PPD and Soneko, they're going ham right now. Soneko will have to walk himself out. He doesn't have any health regeneration on him apart from his burst. But he doesn't want to do that. And R-Star's moved himself up to the top lane, but EG, man, they are so ready for these movements of Navi. You've already got Fear pushing General out of the lane, not even with Soul Assumption. This is just Grave Chill effect, giving a lot of space there for Arteezy and taking a lot of the life off General. That R-Star's movement to this top lane was scouted out by the very early Observer Ward planted down by EG.
Yeah, and Visage is really good at zoning these solo heroes, so they needed to respond with Artstyle moving up there. Also, there's really nothing he can do up against the Faceless Void. Winter Wyvern, Chen, Sven, they can't really keep the Void away from experience, so this is just, in the bottom lane, it's just going to be a trade for farm, really. And I think Universe might actually be able to win that exchange as the game goes on.
coming over. This should be a first blood if they can keep that slow going over on General. He'll move to the east and away from the rest of Evil Geniuses, so taking that one safe road. A Universe? He needs a time lock. He desperately required a time lock to find that kill there.
Yeah, so the problem for Navi already is that Arteezy has completely uncontested farm, whereas Dichara is actually losing the lane against Universe. He's already low on regen. He's actually out of regen at this point. He's sitting on 400 gold, and he'll have to commit to some new regen unless Soneko will keep him afloat.
Another big difference as well between this TA game and Dendi's one yesterday is the fact that he's not dominating in the CS in the mid lane. Invoker's got a little bit of extra damage, only 9 coming in from the drill at the moment, but the fact that normally with refraction charges, you got a lot of damage and Dendi shouldn't be falling behind in CS, but they're neck and neck. In fact, there's more denies going the way of Sumail in this mid lane.
It looks as if Sumail is going for the Cross-Wex build though, and I would actually like to see that, because especially Chen will have a hard time dealing with that if he goes for the classic Rocket build-up, where he'll run around in Ghost Walk.
Yep.
You can pick off Chen so very easily.
Just go for that Hunter. And he can do it so well. Like, it's the advantage of going Cross-Wex when you've got a Drow Ranger on the field, because you're able to get that extra damage, which you don't get by not scaling up Exhort, obviously.
Yeah.
Still want to keep my eyes on this top lane. General's Batrider, he's staying as close as he possibly can. And R-Star feels like he needs to hold his hand as well. But it means he's also soaking up a lot of the experience of the Batrider.
You can just see the bottom lane, how Universe constantly punishes Dichara. Whenever he goes up for a last hit, Universe is just there to hit him twice. So that is the redeeming factor of the Winter Wyvern, that he has that cold embrace that can sort of keep Dichara healed up. But they've already gone through all the tangos that Soneko had as well. Universe is doing an exceptional job on the bottom lane.
Is this really the trade-off that Navi was really hoping for when they did this draft? Like, the Faceless Void came up and then they picked this event into it, but they needed someone that could add some level of pressure, or at least lane against the Faceless Void. But Void's just getting, like, he's going to get a level 6 by 5 minutes in.
Exactly. You sort of have to ask yourself, why didn't Navi go for the Lion pick that is so popular amongst every other team and would have done well against any offlane?
Real trouble when that Tornado is going to pick him up. He's so low, and there it is, first blood. Samal found it perfectly. General still here, but the EMP is going to burn out a lot of mana. The Courier just watching the fight going on. But Samal so low on life. The Fairy Fire going to be expended. He's got 3 tanks. Ah, there it is. It will be enough to get napalm charges on him. Being a double kill actually coming away. 2 in favor of Navi. Not 2 against Navi, sorry.
Definitely still a worthwhile trade, obviously. Getting the first part on Sumail and Soneko paying with his life afterwards. PPD getting some good level on that. 3.5 now. And not commonly a death you would expect a TA to have.
Yeah, he's just gone out. Like, then he didn't have his mana, so he didn't have refraction charges available. And that tornado very early on, because there is no like extra value point or whatever over an exhort. Like it was the best EMP tornado that Sumail could have had at a 5-minute mark.
Yeah, it's really well played by him.
Well, Dendy, I wonder if he also thought he could just hang around, try and bait Sumail a little bit closer. Like with General wrapping around the back, Dendy would have had a little bit more confidence. Well, they're gonna go again. And goodbye refraction charges, and goodbye all of the mana of the Templar Assassin.
He has his bottom now though, so it's not that big of a deal. On the bottom lane, DJ has now farmed up a Helm of Iron Will, so he has that sustainability and additional armor up against Faceless Void. It'll be a lot part of the universe to actually trade.
Oh, General's in real trouble. That Firefly trying to get him away, stick charge is going to trigger, and yet she turns for another sticky napalm. It allowed Dro Ranger the time to reach him and get the last attack in, and now that's Arteezy, one creep away from hitting his level 6. And then we're adding a lot more agility onto the field.
Yeah, and you can see like the slow factor on this lane. He activated, General activated the Firefly, but couldn't run away. Oh, Artstar does have boots.
There's actually only 1 point. Yeah, it's actually 2 points up into the Frost Arrows. I got a buff a while ago. Actually made it so you can get away with the 2 points, so you're able to get the attack and keep up with pretty much any hero in the game, even with boots or not.
Yeah, and he's on the verge of hitting 6 as well. And they can start pushing out the lanes against the Chen. There's not a whole lot of wave clear on Navi's side of things, so if they're not careful and if they don't get level 6 on bat, they might lose that top tower very early on.
Navi just smoked underneath the Dire Observer ward. They were walking backwards when they did it. So EG will probably assume there's some level of gank coming the way of Sumail. But Arteezy still can play defensive behind his own tower.
He's pulling the wave, Artstar's gonna run into it.
Oh, there's still one Hellbear which isn't smoked up, and here they come. Look for that troll trap over for an Arteezy. He might be level 6, but he can still die like the rest of them. Artstyle, and he had to sacrifice himself for this kill. It's the only way. They did get a lot of TP support up here, including Universe, who had the Chronosphere. He won't be able to reach General, who gets away. So EG with the rotations, but only gets the, well, already collateral kill of the Chen.
A very good trade indeed. They get the kill on the Drow Ranger. They have Universe TP up, which means that Dichara will now have completely uncontested farm on the bottom lane, something they desperately needed. So suddenly the carry potential is going in favor of Navi, although Sumail is doing a great job on the middle lane up against the Templar Assassin, doubling his CS now.
There is the one area where a question was asked by Swindles actually, who was going to be taking this? Navi has started the stacks over on the Ancients. Looks like they've actually got a trip stack over there at the moment. Who do you give this to? Do you try and get it into the hands of Dendy so he can get his early game items and get into that early Desolator? Or do you try and buff up this Ven even more?
It's a bit of a toss-up. I actually think giving it to Dendy would probably be most beneficial, because that would allow them to move around on the map and establish early dominance, where Sven could then continue to farm up. They do have a stack in their own jungle as well, albeit a small one.
I could feel it a lot more over on Dendy too. PPD under the cover of the Invis rune. Dendy, he's going to melt and then attack into the Invoker, and PPD was there waiting. The cold embrace from Snako will mean that EG cannot actually find this kill straight away. And Artstyle, well, he needs a trap, but right now all he's got is Hellbears and a Centaur. Can they close the distance on PPD? He's slowed up a little bit, but now back on the run. Dendy's going to trap up in 2 seconds, 1 second time, and this may just be enough to catch up to him with Arteezy. Stands his ground, is here as well, but so is General. Turns on the Firefly, and PPD lets another stun off, keeping that Bite Rider away, while Artstyle, he's getting ripped apart by Arteezy. PPD will die as a sacrificial lamb, but Fear in General that is battling it out. Okay, that Rider will find the kill first. It was the Visage Familiars that finished the job, and Dendy back under the cover of Mel. The gust from Arteezy, he can't do any kind of physical damage into Dendy. The Familiars will double drop onto Dendy and keep him there for the Chen army from Artstyle, surrounding Arteezy, allowing Snako to hit into that carry Dro Ranger, and they're gonna find the kill. Yes, they do. Artstyle will grab himself a double kill, with Snako keeping the pressure on. Yeah. And leveling the score up at 6-6.
A very well returned home creep army of Artstyle. MVP in this little skirmish, definitely these Hellbear Smashers. I think they netted 4 kills in that fight. So General picking up 2 of the kills before he died, actually one of them after he died. And then Artstyle taking the last 2 also post-mortem. So great play by Artstyle, keeping them in the game, and of course, even though Dendy wasn't in there to get hits on them or anything, I think he was within experience range. And General